Hi everyone, Christine Daal here from Fashion Ninja Warrior, and you are tuning in to our weekly Facebook and Instagram Live. I'm super excited because tonight is episode number 65. We are doing a Q&A, so get your questions ready. A lot of you have already sent in your questions, so for those of you who were prepared and already asked your questions, I'm going to answer those first. And then if we've got time at the end, I will answer your questions at the end, so start typing them in. Hi Sherry, hi Gina, how are you? Hi Marissa, nice to see you. So, don't forget to share this video. If you are on Facebook, you can just click the share button. Just note that no one can watch it unless they're actually part of the group. So when you hit share, make sure you tell them to actually join the Fearless Fashionpreneur group. If you're on Instagram, tag someone. This video will be up in our stories for only 24 hours. After that, you can head on over to our Fearless Fashionpreneur Facebook group and watch all of the videos there. Hi Andrea, how are you? We're gonna answer one of your questions tonight. So we're back from LA. I'm super excited. I'm also super exhausted. Can I just be honest with you guys? I am tired. The time difference plus daylight savings time, yeah, not good. And I still have a screaming baby that's not sleeping through the night. So I'm pretty tired, but we're gonna get through this, and I still wanted to be here for you guys and make sure to do this live for you tonight. So please give me your hearts, give me your thumbs up. I wanna make sure I'm actually talking to somebody that cares on the other end. I need to hear from you guys. It's like oxygen to me, okay? So comments, hearts, thumbs, give me something, please. I love it. Comment below, put your questions in there, and don't forget to share this video. Okay, so Q&A, let's get started. Andrea, your question is the first one up here. Thanks for the hearts. Okay, I'm having a hard time with getting patterns made due to the unique nature of my product. Pattern makers keep bailing on me. How do I find reliable people who can think outside the box without spending an arm and a leg? Okay, so this is a really great question, Andrea. I'm so glad that you brought it up, and I'm so glad that we're gonna talk about it and that you're actually on right now. So why are they bailing on you? That's question number one I have for you. And since you're on, if you can respond, that would be great. I know the comments are a little delayed. But why are they bailing on you? Is it because your product literally isn't feasible and they're telling you they can't make it? Is it because they're telling you it's way too complex, it's not worth their time? Or do you think that maybe they're just not taking you seriously? Maybe they can tell you're a newbie. This does happen a lot with a lot of my clients. I hear that people aren't taking you seriously because you're a newbie. And this is also, of course, why people work with us. I even know some places that won't even work with you unless you're a Fashion Ninja Warrior client. Like, that's how serious they take it because they don't want to take the time to teach you, right? So you have to keep that in mind as well, that some people just flat out don't want to work with you. Thank you, Michael. Thank you so much. It is my birthday today, guys. This is how much I love you. I am doing this on my birthday just for you guys. Some people say it's not their specialty. Okay, so they're giving you an honest answer, which I'd rather have somebody tell me that it's not their specialty than tell me they can try to do it, take my money, and then give me a crappy product, right? So that's really good that they're actually it sounds like they're being honest with you, which is great. I'm glad, because that sounds really good. And then, of course, keep in mind the reliable part, right? You're asking, where can you actually find reliable people? This is one of the reasons why people do work with us and come on our fashion tours. Anyone that has come on our fashion tours, you get our preferred vendor list, which has over 85 of our preferred vendors and suppliers. Okay, some have also stopped mid-project. Okay, so, and that probably means they probably tried to do it, knowing that they probably couldn't do it, and then they got to the point where they knew they couldn't do it, or maybe they tried to do it thinking that it would be possible and then realized it's literally not possible. So this is a really specific case, and I probably would have to look at it and specifically be able to tell you, okay, this is feasible, this is not feasible. But you should be able to find someone. And we work with the best. We work with all the most reliable people. Thank you, everyone, for the birthday wishes. Thanks, guys. I love it. If you emailed or called me or texted me today, happy birthday, I have not gotten back to you because I've been that swamped. So I apologize. I will get back to you. And I appreciate the birthday wishes. Thank you. So yes, to find reliable people, I mean, this is what we do, right? I've built up a list of these people that I work with that are good, that I trust, that I know won't take advantage of you, right? So that's really, really important. And also keep in mind, you also will get our preferred vendor list if you're a one-on-one client of ours or an FSI student. So the Fashion Startup Intensive students, you also get that preferred vendor list. So if you haven't gotten it, just email us and we'll send it to you. But don't try to waste time trying to find these people on your own, guys. Why? It's so pointless. I've already done the work for you. All you have to do is work with us. Come on one of our tours. We have 2 tours coming up. We've got our fabric tour coming up here in New York City on March 22nd. You can go to fabrictour.eventbrite.com to sign up. And then we also have our Austin tour coming up April 2nd. You can go to austinfashiontour.eventbrite.com in order to sign up for that as well. And then the whole not spending a ton of money on development part of your question, that's a whole other side. So if it is very, very difficult to do, you're probably going to end up spending a ton of money on the development of it. One way to kind of work around that would be if you could kind of make a prototype yourself, or at least something, right? Like if you can start the pattern making process yourself or the sample making process yourself, like anything that you can kind of do to kind of tweak things and get it as close as possible to what you really want, to show it to somebody and explain it to them and then let them kind of finalize it. That's definitely going to save you a ton of time, energy, and money, especially if it is very difficult to do and people don't actually know if this is actually something feasible, like if it's actually doable to actually make what it is you're looking to make. Then you might want to kind of do a lot of the preliminary, troubleshooting on your own to kind of see if it's going to work. So does that help? Hopefully that's helpful. Let me know in the comments if that was helpful for you. Great question, though. I'm so glad you asked that question. Okay, our next question comes from Kay O'Neill. I hope that she's on. Kay, if you're on, give me a little shout out. Hi, Shop, Recover, Repeat. Hey, Doreen. Hi, Ash. How are you? Nice to see you, girls. Okay, so Kay asks how to source for clothes and items to keep up with what's in style. Now, I don't know exactly, Kay, if you are talking about fabrics, if you're sourcing fabrics, or if you're sourcing clothing itself, like you plan to sell some stuff retail on your website that you're buying wholesale from other designers. But as far as keeping up with what's in style, there are a ton of different ways. So number one, there's a lot of trend forecasting companies out there like Pantone, Peclairs, there's so many, Donegal, there's so many trend forecasting companies out there that charge a lot for their services to figure out what's new and what's trending and all of that great stuff, right? Super, super important. But do keep in mind that it does cost a lot of money to use these trend forecasting companies. There are also a ton of free websites that I give away to all of our FSI students. So if you are a Fashion Startup Intensive student, that is one of the perks of being a student. You get a ton of free resources and tools and things like that you can use. We also do have a spring summer trend report on our website that we've built ourselves because we know that you guys need this information. It is literally a 50+ page report and it's only $9.99, guys. So definitely go check that out. And then I'll also say that finding what's in style really comes with experience, being in the industry, being a designer for many, many years in the industry. I've seen trends come and go. I've seen kind of the life cycle of trends. And so that's super, super important to kind of just be immersed in the industry. And then worst case scenario, when it all comes down to it, you can always use Pinterest and Instagram. So use your hashtags, hashtag spring summer trend, hashtag spring 19 trend, whatever the case may be, so that you can kind of see what's trending. But I'm assuming all of you are in fashion because you love it. And if you love it, you should literally be immersed in it. You should be watching all of the runway shows, looking at all the fashion magazines, going and shopping all of the stores, because that's really, really important and definitely going to help you, okay? So thanks, guys, for sending in all your questions. I'm definitely going to try to answer them, but I'm first going to answer all the questions that have already been submitted to the people that already submitted them, and then I'll come back to all of your questions. So definitely, if I don't see your question, because the feed is going constantly, retype your question at the end, okay? All right, so Kai, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name, Kay. I think it's Kay. I hope that helped you. I hope you're watching this live. Let me know if that helped you, okay? All right, our next question comes from Jaslyn Gardner. How to manage your personal life with your business life. How to cope with criticism. I'm a very sensitive person, so I had to learn that everyone isn't going to support our dreams, especially family. Okay, this is a great question. So we're actually in the process of posting a blog up on our blog. It's going to be posted, I think, April 1st. That will be titled How to Maintain a Work-Life Balance. So definitely check that out, Jaslyn, because I think that's going to help you a lot. It's going to help you maintain your personal and your business life. But really, it comes down to a lot of things like time management, not procrastinating, prioritizing your tasks, and really setting boundaries. Like setting boundaries is probably the number one thing. And sometimes these are boundaries that you have to set within yourself. And sometimes they're external boundaries, right? So for instance, my husband, he normally gets home from work around 6 p.m. every day. He knows that his work day is over at 6, but my work day is not over at 6, right? I'm doing Facebook Lives, I'm answering emails, I'm doing all kinds of stuff, preparing for the next day, whatever the case may be. So he kind of knows, because I've set boundaries and I've trained him, hey babe, look, you can't really bother me until I'm done working. And I'm not done working at 6. You're done working at 6, but I'm not done working at 6, right? So he just kind of knows, okay, I need to leave her alone. I need to let her be until she's done, right? So that's a boundary that I've set with him. Things like even knocking before they enter the room, right? If you have a home office or you work from home, right? That sort of thing. You want to make sure that people actually knock and respect your privacy, right? You might be on a phone call with a client or a store or something, right? So just make sure that you set those boundaries and let them know, hey, if the door is closed, I really would appreciate it if you knock first, right? All of those things are great. That's going to help you kind of differentiate between your work and your life. Also, making sure that you have a designated space to work. I have a specific office, which is wonderful. I'm going to soon lose my office because it's going to become a nursery. But until the meantime, I have an office, which is awesome. If you don't have an office, just try to have a room or a desk or a table or somewhere where this is your designated workspace. And preferably something that you don't use for something else. So don't use a kitchen table where you eat. That's not good. Don't use your bed because that's where you sleep, right? So try to have a totally separate space just for work. And this is going to help train your mind subconsciously to know that, okay, when I'm at this table or when I'm at this space, this is where I actually do my work, right? So it kind of trains you subconsciously. All right, guys, thanks so much for posting all of your questions. I'm probably going to have to ask you to repeat them at the end, but keep them coming because I'm going to try to answer all of them. Okay, so hopefully that will help. Also, getting ready in the morning. So if you do work from home or something like that, make sure you're still putting on clothes, you're still putting on makeup, right? I try to do this, to be honest. I don't always do this because it's crazy around here. But it helps definitely subconsciously so that you're ready for the day, so that you know, okay, it's time to work, it's not time to relax, okay? And then as far as the whole coping with criticism, so this kind of goes back to emotional intelligence, which we talked a lot about episode 50. So go back and watch Facebook Live episode 50 on how to not let your emotions take you out, where we talked really about how to understand emotional intelligence, how to have an accountability partner, right? Having a coach is a version of an accountability partner, which is definitely going to help you. And how to eliminate distractions, right? So let's say your family members are not very supportive. Hopefully you don't live with them. If you do live with them, hopefully you have your own separate room that you can kind of separate yourself from them, right? Also comes down to understanding at the very core, right, that you can do anything. You can do anything your heart's desire, like Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Like I totally, fully believe that God created you for a reason, for a purpose. And if you know and understand what that purpose is, he will help you achieve it no matter what anyone says around you. And then also just remember to kind of brush it off, right? Don't take it personally. I know that's hard when it's family or friends or maybe even your husband, right? But just try to brush it off if a negative comment or remark comes your way. And then try to also replace it with a positive remark, right? So if somebody says like, oh, you'll never make it doing that fashion line, you know, you say out loud to yourself, no, I will make this fashion line. I will be super successful. I will be the best fashion designer out there. You know, all of these types of affirmations, it truly, truly does make a difference, guys. So what you say out loud matters, okay? Your words have power. Okay, so hopefully, this is Jaslyn. Sorry, Jaslyn. Hopefully that answered your question. If you're on, let me know. I would love to hear back from you. Yes, you got to keep pushing through. Always look at the end result. Love it. Thank you so much, Shop, Recover, Repeat. You are awesome. You are so on point. Yes, have vision, right? If you know where you're going, the small things don't matter. The small things that people say here and there is not going to matter, right? And then for me, it's like revenge is the best success, success, right? So, you know, just prove them wrong. Just be super, super successful and totally prove those people wrong. And then they're going to be the ones coming back to you and apologizing. So that's really great. Okay, our next question comes from Daniela Jacques. Is Daniela on? I haven't seen her on, actually. I hope she's on. Okay, Daniela, so her question. I thought I saw more SpringSummer Fabrics on the textile trade shows in August. Text World specifically. However, shouldn't they really be out in January? I thought designers need to start designing in January for spring, summer. Do textile shows take this into consideration? Okay, so this is a great question, Daniela. Yes, spring, summer fabrics do come out in January and fall, winter comes out in July. However, the shows will try to gear the show to that specific season. However, understand that a lot of fabric vendors don't actually get the new fabrics in time for the shows. And so a lot of cases what happens is they're gonna just show whatever they have and they're gonna call it spring summer because they haven't actually received their new spring summer collection, right? Which totally sucks for you designers because you're going to the show hoping to see new spring summer and you could potentially be seeing old fabrications, which again is why it's important to be immersed in the industry to know what's a new fabric, what's an old fabric. For instance, I literally sat with a client the other day, and I apologize if you're on this call right now. I'm not gonna say your name. But I sat with a client the other day who showed me a fabric and thought it was absolutely amazing. And I said, get rid of that fabric. I used that fabric 4 years ago. We sold it all over the place to Ross, TJ Maxx, Strawberries. I don't want to see that fabric. It's old, okay? She thought it was completely new because she hadn't seen all the fabrics that I have seen, okay? To me, it was completely old. So you have to just know, and even just shopping the stores, guy, if you see it in a low budget store like Strawberries or Ross, TJ Maxx, these low budget stores, that means it's done. It's been out in the market. It's already reached its potential. Move on to the next fabrication, okay? Super, super important. It's also a really good idea to constantly be visiting these fabric vendors because they are constantly getting new product in and it doesn't always fall on the calendar. And so make sure that you're setting up time on your own to go visit them, that you're not relying on the shows as your only source of information to get these fabrications. And keep in mind, we're having our fabric tour coming up in New York City where we're going to take you to 5 different fabric vendors so that you can look at spring summer trends and fabrics and know what's a new fabric, what's not a new fabric. So that's March 22nd. You can go to fabrictour.eventbrite.com. Okay, I love all these questions you guys are posting. Awesome. Okay, our next question comes from Ina. I'm going to try to get through these as fast as possible. How would you recommend pitching to retailers if your product is transformable and you kind of have to show it in action to be able to get the idea? Also, this creates complications with displays in store. Shall I invest in tablets or some sort of screen so the product is demoed on the screen? What are your thoughts? So I love this question, Ina. Thank you so much for asking it. I actually had a similar product for my line. It was a multifunctional item that could be worn literally 20 different ways. And so I have full experience with your question. So what's great is, one, you can create a video. This is exactly what I did. You can create a video of exactly how your product is worn and then put a QR code on your hang tags that can be scanned. So when people are in the store, they can literally scan the code to watch directly on their phone how to actually wear the product. This is super, super genius, okay? Second, you can have an actual diagram on your hang tag. So you can have a couple of sketches of the different ways that it can be worn. Put that actually on your hang tag as well. So I did this also. And then 3, if the store already has some kind of in-store display screen, which some of them do now. I know the Vera Bradley store in Soho has huge screens in the store, which is awesome. You can request and suggest, obviously, that they play your video on the screen, right? And then I would say last resort would be for you to actually buy tablets because that's going to be very costly and just another additional cost that maybe you don't need. So try the other 3 options first. If all else fails and you really, really feel like, oh my gosh, this has to be on display, the video has to be playing when people are looking at the product, then yeah, if it's worth it to you, maybe invest in some iPad screens, right? And you give them away with your product to be displayed in the store. So that's an option as well. Hi Petra, hi Miriam, how are you? Nice to see you girls on. So I hope that helped, Ina. I don't know if you're on, Ina, but if you're watching the recording, let me know if that helped you, okay? All right, our next question comes from Thudo. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Thudo, Thudo. What do you think about the tech tailoring industry? Is it oversaturated? For instance, LaFleur, Taylor, Air Taylor, etc. So first off, if anyone's not familiar with these brands, they're not all the same, number one. So LaFleur is a women's work product line. It's made for working women, right? Career wear. And they send you basically a bento box. So it's not exactly a subscription box model, but it's just a bento box that they send you in the mail, okay? You get a stylist, you fill out a questionnaire, blah, 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 and then they send you this box of stuff. So it's not exactly like custom tailored to you, it's just custom styled to you, okay? Which is totally different from Tailor, which is an app that basically takes your body measurements and then they make custom clothes to fit you. And they supposedly claim that this app is 20% more accurate than an actual tailor, a physical person measuring you. And then this is totally different from Tailor, which is an on-demand clothing alteration product platform, where basically they will send you a bag and instructions on how to measure yourself, and you send them their garment that you want repaired, and they will repair it and send it back to you. So none of these are actually all the same. They kind of sort of similar all fall into the whole tech tailoring industry. LaFleur, I would say, falls more into the subscription box category. But to be honest, I don't know specifically if any of the actual subscription box models are really making good money. I would say my guess would be no. And that's just based on what I know about them. It's based on watching Shark Tank. I've never seen anyone in Shark Tank invest in a subscription box model. And if I'm wrong about that, please tell me. And they've had their reasons why it's not a good model. So I don't think that's a good model, number one. Number two, anytime you're dealing with measurements and measuring the human body, this is really, really difficult, okay? Even measuring in person can be sort of difficult, person to person, let alone having an app or some kind of kit, right, tell you how to do it. You could even have two very, very professional tailors measure you, and the measurements can be totally off. And I know this for a fact because I actually used to measure a lot of guys for tuxedos, and I would measure a lot of my friends for tuxedos if they had a wedding or they had something they had to buy a tux, and they would come back and tell me that the tux fit them and all the other guys that got measured in the store did not fit them properly. And so basically they were saying my measurements were more accurate than the tailor's measurements in the store. So even from person to person, it can vary so much. It's just something that's super, super difficult to actually get accurate. Now, I understand there's a lot of 3D body scanners and things like that going on, which I think could potentially be the future and could be a lot more accurate than an actual person. But then it goes back to, what are you wearing when you get body scanned? Are you naked, right? Did you just eat lunch, right? There's so many variables with body measurements that it's just really hard. And then the whole custom aspect of it, it's a really hard business model because unless you're charging $10,000 for a garment, it's really hard to make money on custom because there's so much time, so much energy that goes into making that one product. You don't really start making money until you start mass producing things. This is why Walmart and Target and all these places make so much money, because they're making 50,000, 100,000 units. Even if they're making only $1 profit off each unit, that's $50,000 or $100,000, right? If you're making a garment and it's taking you 60 hours worth of time to make it, and then you have to charge per hour for your time, it would have to be an astronomical price in order for you to actually make a profit, right? And you're only making one of them, and then you got to start the whole process over again with the next garment. So it's pretty hard to do well with custom. So it's hard to tell in this whole tech tailoring part of the industry. It definitely is a disruption to the way things have been going, which we're going to talk more about this on next week's Facebook Live when we talk about the future of fashion. So the disruption aspect of it is intriguing, but I don't know if it's enough. I don't know if it's enough to really change things and really move the needle and really make it the future of fashion. So we'll continue this discussion on next week's Facebook Live, but great question, Thudo. I'm glad that you asked that question. Okay, great. Crystal has a question. I see designers who are making it big by just launching by the piece. They design and launch at least 3 pieces per week. What's your thought on this? So this can be a very good sales strategy. It creates demand, it creates excitement, and it creates urgency for people to buy. So Maison Clio, I don't know if you guys are familiar with them. They're a brand based in France. Their shop is literally only open once a week, and they only have a couple of items that they produce each week. And once it's sold out, it's sold out. And so they take all their orders, and then they tell you it will take them 2 weeks max to ship you your order. And they only have limited edition everything, right? But if you really think about this business model, it only works because, one, they have someone literally at home. It's the mother of the daughter who's at home sewing all of these things herself, right? So she's literally sitting there sewing all these things at home. And number two, you have to be willing to take the risk and purchase all of your fabric up front. So you've got to purchase all fabrics, all trims, all your notions, all your linings, all of that stuff up front, hoping that those pieces are actually going to sell. And if they don't sell, you've got to be creative enough and a good enough designer to figure out how to reuse that fabric if it doesn't sell into another body or another style so that it will sell in the future, right? And you've got to do it fast because that fabric might go out of style soon, right? So it doesn't quite work all the time. You definitely have to have the right things aligned. Or this model does work if you're just buying wholesale. So let's say you're just buying wholesale, you have an online boutique, and you're reselling that stuff retail, right? You can buy a couple pieces here and there, limited edition, get it while you can, right? Once it's out, it's out. And so that works as well. So I hope that helps answer your question, Crystal. Okay, Kay O'Neill also has another question. Kay, you're doing really well. Finding manufacturers with low MOQ. So MOQ, for those of you who don't know, means minimum order quantity, also known as minimums, right? So most factories will have a minimum that they would like you to produce. However, keep in mind that most factories will also produce any number of units you want. You're just going to pay more if you do a lower quantity. So most of the factories I work with will do 50 pieces. If you go under 50 pieces, you're gonna pay a lot more. Or they're gonna do 300 pieces. If you go under the 300, you're just gonna pay more, right? So there's always gonna be a surcharge. And keep in mind, if you're doing like 10 pieces or 20 pieces, you're practically just making samples. And so they're going to charge you a sample making price, which is really, really expensive. But it's important for you to know where you're gonna get your price break, right? Is it at 50 pieces? Is it at 200 pieces? Is it at 500 pieces, right? Where are you going to get the best bang for your buck so that you know how to price your garments effectively? And the second part of your question, where to find these factories? Well, of course, you need to come on our fashion manufacturing tours. So we have one coming up in Austin on April 2nd, and we'll have our next manufacturing tour in New York City in July. We'll also have another manufacturing tour in Miami in May. So we've got them coming up all the time. Our next LA one, we just did an LA one last week. Our next LA one will be in June. So we've got a manufacturing tour in almost every city. My goal is to have them in all cities and in the country. And that way they're easily accessible to all of you guys. So sign up for one of our manufacturing tours. Okay, and Linda has a question about trunk shows. So Linda, I'm planning a trunk show. Store owner suggested a split of 50-50 sales. I told her I'd think about it. I will do all the setup and the takedown of the show and be there to sell my product. I plan to promote the trunk show to my friends and family. Blah, blah, blah. The room in which the trunk show is being held is kind of a classroom conference room, does not require the store personnel to do a great amount of rearranging the space. I understand that they're doing all the marketing for the event through their newsletter and possibly a sign in the store. However, I believe I should receive a higher percentage than the store. What is your opinion on the percentage? So for trunk sales and trunk shows, 50-50 split is actually pretty good, Linda. I'm surprised that they're actually giving you that because that means you're basically getting your wholesale price. Usually they want at least 60-40, 60 for them, 40 for you, or even worse, 70-30. So 50-50 split is actually pretty good. I would take it. Because that's basically the wholesale price. And then obviously keep in mind that only works as a good split if you have calculated your costs properly. So if you have not calculated your costs properly and that's not actually your wholesale price, then you're in trouble. And I would suggest you download our foolproof cost sheet template, which literally has all of the formulas already pre-set in the template so that you know exactly how to cost your product for profit. Okay, say that 10 times fast. All right, so I hope that helps, Linda. Okay, so that's all the questions that I have. We've got maybe 5 minutes for some more questions. So I'm gonna see if I can get through some of the other ones. Okay, so we've got, okay, Ash.AmberJ. How do you build a lifestyle on social media before launching your brand? So that in and of itself is an entire hour conversation. So I won't be able to answer that question here, and we definitely have a ton of online courses and resources available to answer that question and to help you really build your following on social media before you launch your product. But yes, it is very, very important, and it takes a lot, not just social media. It takes things like blogging, email marketing, SEO, all of that stuff to really, really build a following in order to launch properly. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to answer that question because it's really in depth, but definitely check out our online courses. We've got Mastering Digital Marketing. We just did an online traffic masterclass. You can also work with us one-on-one in order to build your following. So I can definitely help you with that. Great question though. Okay, and then let's see. We've got some questions here on Facebook. I'm just going to scroll through, guys. Give me 1 second. I know you were asking a lot of questions. Okay, Kelly, I'm new to blogging. What is the best way to share my post on social media? So there's a ton of different ways you can share your posts on social media. I prefer to share it also on my business page, whether that's Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is, right? And then also into groups, as long as you're following the group protocol for promotion. And I like to actually post part of the actual blog itself, right? So start typing like the actual, copy and paste the actual part of the blog, like the first paragraph, let's say, and then cut it off like mid-sentence, somewhere where it would be kind of intriguing for someone to keep reading. Cut it off mid-sentence and then put a link, continue reading blog here, right? So that way, if someone has actually started to read the blog, they'll now be enticed to finish reading, right? So it's a little like hook to get them to continue reading. So that I find is the best way to share your posts on social media. And always don't forget to ask for a call to action at the end, right? What did you think of this blog? You know, if the blog is about something specific, let's say it's about Easter outfits, right? You can say, what's your Easter outfit this summer, this Easter, or what's your thoughts on Easter outfits, right? Something like that. So always give like a call to action at the end to get people to comment, because you want them commenting not only on your actual blog, but also on the social media. So I hope that helps, Kelly. Great question. Okay, Michael, what exactly is a brand ambassador? Okay, great question, Michael. So a brand ambassador, you can kind of think of them like a celebrity on Instagram, right? So back in the day, celebrities used to get paid, and they still do. It's just not as common. Celebrities used to get paid to endorse things, right? You would see a Michael Jordan on a Wheaties box, right? And then you would see Michael Jordan doing a Wheaties commercial. And then you would see Michael Jordan having a Wheaties t-shirt, right? And selling Wheaties t-shirts or something, right? So Michael Jordan was basically a brand ambassador for Wheaties. He was the person that Wheaties selected as their quote unquote celebrity, star athlete, whatever you want to call him, right? Their brand ambassador. He was basically promoting the brand for them, and that's what he was paid and compensated to do. So today, yes, celebrities still do this, but also influencers do this, right? And everyday people, right? I'm a brand ambassador for the Copper Room. The Copper Room is a great showroom / press space in Soho in New York City where designers can come and showcase their line, to get buyers to pick it up, to get magazines to show it, to show in New York Fashion Week, Paris Fashion Week, right? So they hired me as their brand ambassador. So I get paid to promote their brand, right? So it's the same thing with Instagram. As new designers, as upcoming designers, you guys want to be working with influencers, and the right influencers that are really going to help take your product to the next level. Why are they called an influencer? Because they have influence over other people. They have now built a following and garnered enough attention to their page to now warrant people actually following them and engaging in what they're doing, right? I just saw something the other day for a product that one of my friends had, and she posted it on her Instagram, and now I'm thinking about literally buying the product, right? That's the power of influencer marketing. So we do a lot of influencer marketing for our clients because it is super, super powerful. I do recommend that you have at least a $1,000 to $2,000 a month budget for influencer marketing. Yes, you can send people products for free. However, keep in mind that a lot of the good influencers now no longer do stuff for product. They actually want to get paid, and they want your product. So, and if they're good, then it's probably worth it, right? So hopefully that answers your question, Michael. Let me know. Your next question, how to start a blog and where? That, again, is an entire 2-hour conversation probably. The short answer of that, and we do teach this in our online course, Mastering Digital Marketing, which you can sign up for on our website. The short answer of that is probably you should start it on your physical website. So if you have a Shopify site, if you have a WordPress site, you want to start the blog actually on the website as a separate tab. You don't want to start it, let's say, on a Tumblr or something like that and then link it to your website, because your blog is actually how you're going to drive a lot of traffic to your site. So you want that traffic going to the actual site, so that when people go to the blog, they see, oh, this is actually a retail store, let me shop around, and then they buy something, right? So you want it housed on your website, whatever that website is. And as far as how to start a blog, I would definitely take our Mastering Digital Marketing course. We're also going to have, towards the end of this year, we're planning it, a blog writing workshop. So we did a blog writing workshop a couple years ago. People loved it. So we'll be launching that again at the end of this year. So I would definitely highly recommend that for you as well. Okay, your next question. You've got a lot of questions, Michael. We're going to try to get through. How does the pre-sale work? That's, again, another hour-long conversation on how pre-sales work. Quick answer, there's a couple of different ways you can do pre-sale. So it depends how you actually are going to set it up, whether you're doing a crowdfunding campaign or whether you're actually just pre-selling on your website or whether you're selling to boutiques. Selling to boutiques is also a version of pre-sales. So we can talk about that separately. And if you're interested in working with us, definitely let me know and we can talk about that. But yeah, pre-sales is an entire topic in and of itself. So we don't have time to answer all of that, but there are different ways to go out pre-selling. Crowdfunding, Michael, yes, we also have an entire online course, Cracking the Crowdfunding Code, which we had one of our students take, and he raised over $20,000 with his crowdfunding campaign. So I definitely highly recommend you take that. It's very affordable. What are the best times to post on Instagram? Okay, so the whole time thing on Instagram, Facebook, all this stuff no longer really matters anymore because it's all about the algorithm and the time doesn't matter anymore. So it's really about engagement. So you want to focus on how to get the most engagement on your page, okay? Focus on that, not about the time. Why is it best to use smaller hashtags versus big ones? Simply because it's harder for you to rank for the bigger ones. If you do hashtag fashion, there's probably over 2 million posts. The likelihood of your post being at the top of that 2 million batch is very small, as opposed to doing something like hashtag red swimsuit with gold foil. There's probably 100 posts more likely that your page is going to be found, right? So smaller hashtags are better than bigger ones. Okay, awesome. So I think we got through all of the questions. Okay, there's more questions. All right, guys, I'm going to have to go because it's my birthday and I do want to actually celebrate and we're way past the time. But I do promise to answer all of your questions on the next Facebook and Instagram Live Q&A. We'll be doing these Q&As probably once a month. So definitely keep those questions coming. I'll be sure to answer those the next time around. And definitely stay tuned for next week. We'll be talking about the future of fashion and what it will look like. Also, don't forget to sign up for our New York City fabric tour if you're interested in fabric sourcing. Coming up March 22nd, you can go to fabrictour.eventbrite.com. If you're in the Austin, Dallas area, we'll be doing our Austin manufacturing tour April 2nd. You can go to austinfashiontour.eventbrite.com to sign up for that. Also, we'll be doing the DG Expo in Dallas, April 3rd and 4th. If you're in the area, definitely let us know. We're also booking one-on-one appointments during that time. So let me know if you want to meet one-on-one. We can look at your line, go through merchandising, fabrics, all of that great stuff. If you haven't already taken our 9 crucial steps to launching a profitable fashion line, our free masterclass is happening again tomorrow. Definitely sign up for that. fashioninjawarrior.com/9steps webinar to sign up for that. And again, if you're interested in our spring summer trend report, that's available on our website. Just go to the shop section on our website. We also have our foolproof cost sheet template available on our website in the form section. And if you want to go back and watch episode number 50, how to not let your emotions take you out, I definitely highly suggest it so that you can get rid of all the naysayers and all the critics and block all of that stuff out so that you can fully succeed. So thanks everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all the birthday wishes. I love you guys. Don't forget to share this video. Give me your hearts. Give me your thumbs up. Give me your feedback. I love it. Was this helpful? Did you enjoy it? Let me know in the comments below, okay? Thanks everyone. Have a great night. Ciao.